Hey guys, EthDo here, and today I'm back with an all new Minecraft update. Now although it's only been 3 months since Minecraft Update 1.9, we already have Update 1.10, which has a ton of new features that are pretty awesome to say the least. Now even though there are less features than we had in 1.9, there are still some really great features in here which I'm sure you'll be happy to see. I'll be showing you all of the crafting recipes that you'll need, as well as explaining what you're actually crafting and how you're going to be using it. So let's get straight into things here with 2 new decorative blocks, both of which can be crafted from items you can find in the Nether. So to start off with, we've got the Nether Wart block. You can craft this by filling your crafting table with Nether Wart. Now it is important to note that this block is merely decorative. If you convert your Nether Wart into this new Nether Wart block, expecting to be able to save on storage space, this will not be the case. Once you've crafted these Nether Warts into the block, they cannot be uncrafted, but you can make a really awesome looking block. Alternatively, we've got the red Nether brick. Now this is the same as your regular Nether brick, but it's got a red tint to it. This is created using 2 Nether bricks and 2 Nether Warts. Now they have to be mixed like this. You couldn't do it like that, it will not work. They have to be in some way crossing over, so you could have it like that and it will still work. You just can't have the same 2 items in the same row. And that will then create your red Nether brick. Now that is going to be resistant to ghast attacks, so if you're thinking of building a building in the Nether, you can now actually create it using these bricks and it'll be quite sturdy and strong against any ghast attacks, which is always a useful feature. Another new block which has been added that involves the Nether items is the new Magma Block, which you saw at the beginning there. It's actually got an animated texture, which is very nice. I'm sure that will look great with some good HD texture packs. And you can craft this using 4 magma cream. You actually need 4, that's all you'll need. You don't actually need a crafting table to do this one. So if I just grab these here, I'll show you in the crafting recipe just so you know I'm not lying. There we go. And you're just instantly in there with a Magma Block. Probably my favourite block in this update. There aren't a whole ton. We have got one more block to show you, but that is definitely my favourite. You'll also notice that this one is a little bit different than the others in terms of its properties. It acts like a cactus. If you actually step on it, you'll actually take damage, which is never a good thing. It also emits a small amount of light as well. So I wouldn't generally use it as a candle because you're probably going to end up hurting yourself on it. But you could use it as a decorative block in an adventure map or some kind of server, whichever you prefer, I guess. That 3rd block, or 4th block actually, terrible counting right there, 4th block is the bone block. Now this is in the new fossil generator structure, which we'll be looking at a little bit later. And it's basically just a giant block of bones. And it's made up of bone meal, so you can craft it using 9 bone meal. And then you'll get this bone block, which you could use to decorate certain areas. It's quite a weird looking block in a way, but I'm sure you can find a purpose for it in an adventure map. And unlike the Nether Warts block, this one can actually go back the other way. If you get the bone block, you can then go and make it into 9 bone meal. Now the way you actually find these is actually underground in deserts. Now this in general would be this one here would be more useful than that one, because you're never really going to need to craft one of these, but you will need to uncraft them if you know what I mean. So you're not going to be using the bone meal to get this block, you're actually going to be using the block to get the bone meal. But it's good to know that you can go either way with this one. There is actually a 5th block, but it is not craftable, and that is important to note. This is the new structure block. I'm not going to be going into detail with this one in this particular video because it is very complicated, as I'm sure you'll see here. It's to do with copying and pasting blocks and structures which you can build in one area, you enter the coordinates, and then you paste it into another area. It's far too complicated to go into here, but what is important to note is that it cannot be crafted. So if you see it being crafted on YouTube, it is either a mod or it is fake. So watch out for that one. There will be a link to a video that I'll create in due time showing how you use these in detail. It'll be in the top right of your corner as a card, or you can check the description. Not doing it here just because it is crazy complicated, and you'll see when you watch that video. And we do actually have another particle effect. Now that's actually all there is for crafting recipes, but there are some other great features which we're going to be covering here. There's a new particle effect, which you can create using here. It's called the falling dust particle. Now if a block is ever affected by gravity, and it's levitating for whatever reason, if there's like a bug, or you've got mods on that allow you to do that, so for example allowing anvils to just float in the air, then you'll see these particles beneath them. And if you put this command into a repeating command block, you can actually make it just kind of go around here, and it looks pretty nice. You can cover it up and kind of hide it if you'd like. Generally, pretty awesome one actually. I'm really quite pleased with that. It's it's got a lot of purpose in multiplayer maps and whatnot. You can make a really maybe like a dungeon theme, and you want a scary part, and you've got to walk through this kind of dark, ominous goo of whatever. I don't know. I'm sure you can think of something better than I can. But I'm sure I'm going to be seeing a lot of that in future maps, because personally I think it's one of the best particles in the game. Now here is actually a pretty awesome feature. This is probably my favourite feature. Maybe not, maybe so. It's very difficult to choose actually. There are a lot of really good features, but this is probably one of my favourites. And what it is the ability to free run. And by that I mean you don't actually have to press the space button to jump anymore. You can just run it at something and you'll actually jump it. So if I do it over here, you'll see it more effectively. I can properly jump around without actually having to click the space button. So you can free run more naturally. You don't have to keep pressing that button and usually messing it up, if you're me at least. I regularly just trip over blocks and jump too short. But now that won't happen because I can just run at the block and go over it. If you don't enjoy this feature though, which I guess in some cases it can get quite annoying if you're in a very tight area and you don't actually want to be running around that much. In that case it can get pretty frustrating. The way you turn this off is by going to Options, Controls, and turning Auto Jump off. At that point, if you run into a block or go near one, you won't just jump over it. We now actually have a couple of new mobs. Now the main one, or the highlighted one, I guess the one that really represents this update quite well, is the polar bear. Now this is a neutral mob, so if you attack it, the mama polar bear is going to go and attack you, so you don't want that because they can do a lot of damage. But if you attack them, then the little polar bears will start to run away. They're pretty fast, like baby zombies I guess. Very quick in the style that they run. So if you do want to be a horrible person and kill these, you're going to have to be swift if you want to get that baby one. The adult ones will generally only attack you if there are smaller ones around. Generally they're always together anyway, so you're very likely to find these as a pair. These are not the only mobs though. If you're in the Ice Plains biome, there is now an 80% chance that any skeleton spawned will actually be a stray. These skeleton variants do not shoot regular arrows, instead they actually shoot slowness-tipped arrows. Zombies also have a new variant. Similar to skeletons, a zombie spawned in a desert biome will now have an 80% chance of being a husk. This is a zombie that will not burn. It will also inflict hunger on you if it bites you. Update 1.10 also sees a change to Endermen, as they now have a 1 in 153 chance of spawning in the Nether. In other words, if you see an Enderman in the Nether, your game isn't broken, you're just very lucky, or very unlucky, depending on your opinion of Enderman. Just before we finish, we do have time to look at the two new generated structures. Fossil structures can be found under desert biomes. This one has been partially excavated, usually they're completely covered in stone. They're made up of the new bone block, and coal is often found around them too. And lastly, Mineshafts can now actually spawn in Mesa biome. Unlike usual, they can actually be found very close to the surface. What's your favourite 1.10 feature? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.